Well, join me, everybody, as I go into the fire. Hey, everybody, I'm Kellen Nitro, and welcome to Nitro's Take, and welcome again, as well, to Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. This is Nitro's Take. This is where I kind of voice my opinion on shows that have happened and put my thoughts out there. So, anyways, into the fire. NWA's first pay-per-view offering under this new alignment with their weekly YouTube show with NWA Power. And Billy Corgan and Dave Lagana and all of the stuff going on, the Jim Cornette controversy, the reveal of Bad News Barrett, FKA Stu Bennett as the new color commentator and that stuff. Everything kind of comes to a head tonight. Well, hours after this happened, it's still tonight here, December 14th, 2019. From the GPB studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This was a pay-per-view that you could stream on Fight TV, which was pretty cool. This was my first experience actually working with Fight TV to watch a pay-per-view, and I have to say, interface is awesome, stream is crystal clear, audio is amazing. What's not to like? And unlimited replays, so you can go back and watch your favorite match off of this card or any other card as many times as you want. Plus, they got the full back catalog of NWA Power episodes up on there too, so feel free to go check those out, and then if you like that, order the replay of the show and watch that. Joe Galli and Stu Bennett open the broadcast, and man, again, another cool set, and immediately we get Eli Drake versus Ken Anderson. This is a grudge match that's been building over the past few weeks on Power. They have entrance music tonight, which was crazy in this universe. We were not sure if the NWA guys would have entrance music going into this pay-per-view or if they would just show up in the ring like studio wrestling used to be in the 80s. But no, this was more of a Lucha Underground type set where they would have the wrestlers kind of come up at the top of the stairs and make their way through the crowd and then down to ringside with their music going and that stuff. Very cool. I like that set. I like that approach. It was very studio, but still very major league, it felt so. And immediately I see a couple of buddies in the crowd, Adam Rotella and Gary Horn, who hosts This Is the NWA Pod, which airs every Tuesday night. Go check it out on YouTube. It typically runs as soon as NWA Power gets off the air, so go join them and check out their stuff. They're doing a great recap tonight as I'm speaking to you about this and that stuff, so I'm going to go back and listen to them after I'm done talking to you guys and getting this thing together. But yeah, great show. Any subscriber of mine should go subscribe to them because they are a funny people and they are entertaining people, so go check them out. The crowd is hot here. This is a hot opener, a complete night and day from what we've seen the night before with the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, where the crowd kind of seemed like they were kind of throughout it. This crowd was hot from the word go tonight. It was crazy. Hard-hitting opener. There was a gravy train attempt that was thwarted by Anderson. Drake gets the pin off of a small package roll-up off the ropes, and the 1-2-3, but this feud isn't over. You can tell that they were kind of staring each other down and that stuff. Excellent opener. Loved every minute of it here. So Wikipedia does not have run times for these matches posted as of yet or anything, but I think they'll come in due time and that stuff. But the show is so compact and so quick paced and everything like that, nothing feels like it's dragging on. So huge pop for Nick Aldis as he gets interviewed by Dave Marquez at the Power Desk. He'll show James Storm why he is the national treasure. No Camille tonight. Aldis gave her the night off. Storm hits his catchphrase himself. The main event hype is real. What a great segment. Go watch it. I can't do it any justice. Just check it out. Up next, we had the debuting Tasha Steele with the NWA taking on Thunder Rosa. Again, this is Steele's debut with the NWA. Cuts a great babyface promo, got the crowd behind her. Rosa is not impressed at all, walking down to the ring from the top of the stands. Very fast-paced match. Rosa gets the 1-2-3 after a double stomp to the back. Rosa then attacks Steele's after the bell. Ashley Vox rolls in for the save, but then Rosa herself hits a shoulder breaker on Vox and an armbar, basically knocking Vox out of the tag team encounter that she's supposed to have with Allison Kay as her partner, taking on Marty, Bell, and Molina later on in the card. So who will Allison Kay's partner be, or will she go at it 2 versus 1 in a handicap match type scenario? Stay tuned. We'll get to that as the card rolls along. The most over man in NWA wrestling today, the Question Mark, took on Trevor Murdoch. Question Mark and Aaron Stevens come out. Stevens has a flag. It's the greatest segment of the week in pro wrestling, bar none, from any show. Mongrovian flag ceremony and unveiling, and the national anthem was amazing. Go back and check that out on the pay-per-view. It was entertaining. It was funny. Nikolai Volkov has nothing on the Question Mark. I'll just throw it out there right now in singing ability. The Question Mark is the greatest foreign heel of our time in pro wrestling. Well, at least the most over foreign heel in pro wrestling with the karate. Again, Question Mark taking on Trevor Murdoch. A hat trick of body slams from Murdoch to open on a Question Mark. But the big Question Mark takes on, and this is a weird note taking here, but the big Question Mark hits the exclamation point big drop kick during this match. The finish, Murdoch goes up for a high spot and grabs a Mongrovian flag in the corner. Stevens distracts Murdoch, and the Question Mark hits the Mongrovian spike. 1-2 free, and the Question Mark again is over with the crowd. This is one of the best parts of NWA Power, is the Question Mark, so go check it out if you haven't seen it. This is such a great gimmick, and just it's ridiculous but funny at the same time. Up next, the NWA Tag Titles, the Timeless Rock and Roll Express. Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson taking on Wildcard, Tom Latimer, and Royce Isaacs. Rock and Roll Express walking out with Homicide and Kingston. And then we find out that Wildcard is walking out with the Dawson brothers. Both teams have backups, just in case one team tries to interfere with the other. And that's just how heated this kind of rivalry has happened in the past few weeks and that stuff. Wildcard feeling like they lost the belts on a fluke. Rock and Roll Express saying, no, you guys are just bad, so here we go. Ricky Morton is hitting suicide dives at the age of 60-something, and I'm here for it. Wildcard, just miscalculation all over the place, allowing a couple quick 2 counts for Rock and Roll Express. Morton then hits a Canadian Destroyer in one of the highlights of the night. Holy smokes, that was just amazing. While the other 2 teams get to brawling on the outside, the Rock and Roll hit their patented double drop kick on Isaacs for a 1-2 free count, and they retain the NWA Tag Team titles. So kind of an interesting thing with them holding the titles here. They'll be NWA Tag Team champions pretty much across 5 decades now, with the start of the new decade coming up in a few weeks. So it remains to be seen if of course they're doing television tapings and that stuff starting tomorrow, but we'll see what happens going forward. But still a interesting historical, I don't want to say a quib, but more of a footnote than anything else. Yeah, sure. We then head back to the desk, and Joe Galli and Stu Bennett announced that January 24th will be the next NWA pay-per-view. No name announced as of yet, but we'll find that out in the coming weeks. And the return of the NWA television title to the fold as a brand new NWA TV title is unveiled, and it's sexy as hell. Love it. Great stuff. Eli Drake then comes out and runs down Ken Anderson. Anderson has had enough, though, and they brawl, but Anderson runs Drake into a ring post, then a mic check into the steel chair in the ring, and lays Drake out. So this was, I think, more kind of affirming Drake as more of the face coming out of this, and Anderson as a heel. It remains to be seen if that's how they remain to carry on with it and that stuff, but great establishment for stuff going on in 2020 between the 2 of them. Women's tag action up next. Allison Kay and a mystery partner now at this point taking on Marty Bell and Molina. It looks to be a 2-on-1 situation early on, but Marquez says, Allison Kay, you have a partner, and then all of a sudden we see ODB making her NWA debut. All four told a great story in the ring. Molina looks good back into the ring, kind of doing the chicken blank heel run around gimmick and that stuff, kind of similar to what she was doing in her glory days in WWE. So does ODB though. ODB looking great in the ring too. I think Allison got busted open a bit on something during the match. I missed it, but her forehead was kind of red and bleeding at a certain point of it, and they kept on a wide shot away from it. Kay hits the AK-47 on Molina, allowing ODB to hit a Death Valley driver on Marty Bell for the 1-2 free. So, if anything, ODB coming in as now Allison Kay's friend, tons of storyline options coming off of that. So it remains to be seen what happens off of that. But the NWA's women's division is going to be worth watching as well in the new year. The NWA National Title Freeway was up next, where we had Ricky Starks take on Aaron Stevens, take on the champion Colt Cabana. And this is Cabana's second pay-per-view this weekend. He lost, like I said, in the earlier Nitro's take on this channel for Final Battle 2019 to Alex Shelley at Final Battle, which would be last night, 13th versus the 14th. Stevens is accompanied by this question mark. Triple threat rules. The question mark attacks Cabana early on and lays him out, allowing Starks and Stevens to go one-on-one. What a great match. Stevens then peters out to the ringside and hides under the tree. Well, yeah, there's a Christmas tree by the commentary desk. Foreshadowing for what's to come to that poor Christmas tree. The Mongrovian spruce, as it was later dubbed, I guess. Not doved, but dubbed by fans online and that stuff. The question mark nails Cabana with the spike, and Stevens sneaks in for the 1-2 free count, and Aaron Stevens is your new NWA National Champion in a great match, and that belt will continue to get a lot of play going into 2020 on this iteration of the National Wrestling Alliance. NWA legend and former NWA champion Tim Storm is one of the refs in the 2 out of 3 falls match. He talks to Dave Marquez, and there's a great video package recapping it all. And then the main event, 2 out of 3 falls for the NWA World Heavyweight Title, or Sweet Charlotte as it's dubbed. The champion Nick Aldis versus the challenger Cowboy James Storm. Brian Hebner will officiate fall number 1. That was James Storm's pick. Tim Storm will officiate fall number 2. That was Nick Aldis's pick. And if there is a necessary need for a third fall, there will be a coin toss on who the official will be out of those two for the third fall. Very old school, loved it. Starts out smooth, classic chain wrestling, but not even 2 minutes in, Camille comes out, and it allows for a distraction for Storm to hit a super kick to Aldis' jaw for the first free count of the match, and 1-0. All of a sudden, Storm has the lead in the contest for the 2 out of 3 falls, so the champion has to fight from behind. Second fall, remember that Mongrovian spruce? The sad tree gets wiped out as they brawl throughout the set. After exchanging small packages, Aldis gets the pin to tie 1-1. There's a coin flip. It ends up heads, which was the choice for Brian Hebner. So Hebner is in for fall number 3. A near fall for Aldis after a superplex, only 2. And then Aldis clotheslines Hebner by accident, and Tim Storm has to be the ref for the rest of the match. Somewhere during that, the turnbuckle becomes exposed, and we don't really see on camera what happens and how that came to be. And actually, I didn't see it at all. My head was turned. So I'm not exactly sure who or what or wherever. If anybody comes over from like this is the NWA pod or whatever, throw it in the comments below if anything had happened off that. But I didn't see anything happen there at all, because I had my head turned away from the laptop at the time when it happened, and then I just heard them talking about it. So I might have to go back on the PVR on Fight TV and check it out. But James Storm hits the exposed turnbuckle, allowing Aldis to lock in the Kingsland Cloverleaf and a submission pass-out victory where, it's reiterated again, where Storm never gave up. He just couldn't answer the ref at all. Aldis retains the NWA Championship. Post-match, Aldis is speaking with Dave Marquez and says there is not a man alive that could take this belt away from him. The lights dim and go out, and the music of the villain, Marty Scurll, hits. In one of the more shocking developments of 2019, in a good way, in pro wrestling, Marty Scurll is revealed to have committed, maybe signed with NWA Wrestling. I don't think it's an exclusive commitment, but I think he's here to challenge Aldis for that NWA Championship going into the pay-per-view in January. Scurll and Aldis go face-to-face, and we go to black. And then, after a few seconds, we fade back up for some bonus content on Fight, or we thought we did. Marquez has some comments for Scurll, but before we can hear them, the feed cuts off. I think that's probably something we will see this Tuesday on Power. And probably we'll see the promo then and that stuff. Nick Aldis, I Want Your Title. These two had a classic at the Crockett Cup back in April for the NWA title. So why not see it happen again and that stuff, and see if Marty can wrestle that NWA championship away from Aldis. This was a jaw dropper for sure. I don't think everybody expected Marty Scurll to show up in the National Wrestling Alliance, but if he's still trying to make up his mind on which major promotion, which route he wants to go down in 2020, I think the NWA is the perfect pit stop for him. And if he wants to keep on with Ring of Honor in 2020, to build a partnership with Ring of Honor talent coming over to work NWA shows and that stuff, I got no problem with that. I know there was a little bit of a partnership earlier this year and that stuff, and it kind of faded away by the wayside, but I think that's still something that should be revisited and worked, because there's a lot of good from both sides that could really be beneficial, shall we say. I will give this pay-per-view a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. The runtime was 2 hours and 24 minutes, so it's a nice, tidy 2.5-hour show. Very enjoyable. A lot of fun wrestling. I thought Gallia and Bennett were great on commentary, and I thought the matches were superb. Favorite match, of course, was that main event match, which it should be, right? So anyway, that's all I got for now. Later days. Happy wrestling watching, folks. See you later. You can like and subscribe and share this video to all your friends and that stuff. And follow me on Twitter at Kellen Nitro if you want to talk more wrestling. No doubt we will catch you guys later on, because there's still one more show this weekend that we got to get through. The WWE TLC pay-per-view that's happening on December 15th. Oh yeah, that's right. The big 5,000-pound gorilla has a pay-per-view, and it's their last one of 2019, so we'll see what happens. All right, folks, later days. See you then.